we're back talking some more Harley Quinn Season 3 on the channel with Episode 9, the penultimate episode, and this last episode for the finale. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's one of my favorites of the entire season. I mean, we started off with the madness last week with Bruce Wayne resurrecting his dead parents with the help of Frank's abilities, but it continues to spiral out of control in such an insane way this episode that it's a lot of fun and also builds upon that and sets up some great stuff for the finale next week. As you can imagine, pretty much everyone is horrified at the fact that we're bringing back Thomas and Martha Wayne from the grave. Pretty much everybody but Bruce. Bruce is the only one that seems okay with this. Surprisingly, just those two being alive is not the main central conflict of the episode. Things got a lot worse than just that. Because it turns out that Frank's resurrection abilities pretty much resurrected everybody in the vicinity, not just Bruce Wayne's parents. So there is this odd mixture of zombies and plants running around. They're a very interesting, unique style of zombie because they don't go around biting people, they just vomit up this weird, strange liquid that causes plants to grow, and if you do get in contact with it, it turns you into these scary creatures, these weird plant hybrids, and unfortunately, Dr. Psycho is the one that gets taken out right away. He is turned into a weird creature and is kind of incapacitated for the entire episode, which is unfortunate because I love Dr. Psycho. This entire setup for the episode is quite creepy, and it gets you right in the mood for spooky season because that is so close around the corner. I mean, I'm a huge horror fan, so I'm always gonna love zombies and all of that stuff. Time is really of the essence, though, to try and save everybody from these plant zombies. They're gonna attack Gotham, and especially Jazzapajizza, this jazz festival that turns out Ivy's a really big fan of jazz, so she wants to save that festival in particular. From then on out, everybody splits into their different groups. You have Ivy going into the green to try and stop the zombies that way, while Harley's gonna go off with Nightwing and Batgirl to face off against all of the zombies to protect everyone in Gotham. I have to love the fact that Damian Wayne is around to try and help out with everything. We even see him being introduced to Thomas and Martha Wayne's zombies, and he just doesn't care. He's just too focused on the video games, so he doesn't help out at all, but he is there. This entire section of the episode where they're all going out to face the zombies probably has some of my favorite moments. I mean, the big one is Harley's actually flying the Batwing, going into battle with Nightwing and Batgirl. Of course, she's pretty pissed off the Batwing doesn't have any lethal weaponry to take on the zombies, which could be useful in a situation like this, but I was hyped seeing her use it. I mean, it's great to see them all fight side by side, which is not something that I anticipated going into the season. I mean, a few episodes back, we saw her fighting side by side with Batgirl, but I never thought we'd have this kind of scenario. All the stuff that's involving King Shark is kind of confusing to me, just location-wise, because he keeps bouncing back and forth between going with Harley and the team and back to see his family underwater. And once again, with this episode, we do see that shift again, because Harley's trying to talk to him while she's in the Batwing, and he's already back over there, and then he comes back right away to go talk to Bruce. So I don't know, maybe it's just a me thing, but I personally think that's just kind of weird how fast he gets to different locations and comes back. I don't know if that's like a continuity thing or what, but it's something that I've noticed. At the very least, I am glad that King Shark came back, though, because it does help Bruce regain his senses and kind of realize that he needs to fix this situation, and also the fact that he is a little bit old to still be harping on his parents' death to this degree. With everything going so well, I had a feeling there had to be some sort of twist here, because we do have an episode after this, and I wasn't really sure where we were going to lead into the finale, and it turns out that Ivy's just going to be full villain again. She tries to be swayed by Swamp Thing to do the right thing when she goes into the green and use those powers for good instead of evil. She chooses evil. I mean, she looks amazing when she comes back out of the green with those powers. She looks like the traditional Poison Ivy we know from the comic books, but she's going to use the powers for evil, using instead to stop the plant zombies, actually using them as an army, controlling them to help terraform Gotham into what she wants. That aspect isn't something that I was overly shocked by, because that's always been Poison Ivy's plan, to terraform Gotham, but it was the way that we went about it here and kind of going behind everyone's back, which does include Harley, and I was really worried how that was going to change their dynamic, this shift. Since in these last couple episodes in particular, we have been seeing Harley and Ivy kind of go further and further away between hero and villain, Harley being a much more heroic character, and now Ivy being a more villainous character. It's just the fact that it is kind of a betrayal that Ivy is going behind everyone's back to do all this, and then Harley does realize it and has to go try and talk her through these things and tell her that what she's doing is wrong to all these people. It's certainly not a great look. We're seeing all these people being turned into these horrifying plant zombie hybrids as she's giving this villainous speech. I did think it was hilarious that Bane shows up to Jazzapajizza and he's still looking at pasta makers and he's still mad about this pasta maker. I really didn't expect this whole joke about the pasta maker going on throughout the entire season and culminate in this episode. Since it seems like nothing is going to get through to Ivy, though, Harley takes things to extreme measures, saving Bane from being puked on and changing into a plant monstrosity, and that is what causes causes him to forgive her finally for the pasta maker. So glad that's over with. But on the horrifying side, Harley is now being changed into this horrifying plant creature. But thankfully, that is the final straw here, and Ivy does change everything back. And we see all the horrible mayhem that's left behind. And that is kind of how we end the episode here. A very strong penultimate episode, in my opinion. We do have a few things to wrap up with the finale next week. But they've heard my thoughts on this episode of Season 3, Episode 9. What'd you think of Episode 9? Did you like the episode, dislike the episode? And how are we feeling about the finale next week? What do you think is going to happen in that? Because I think it's going to be a lot of fun talking about that finale next week. Pretty crazy that it's already the finale next week, at least to me. It's been a lot of fun talking about the show with you guys down below in the comments section. So make sure you share your thoughts down below, and also leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so your update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. So next time, I'll see you guys later.